we're going to enter into the free monthly scenario 17, Dawn of New Alliance. Let us tackle the lore part first. So let's go. From the pen of Raylan, Ambassador of Jandar, 14th of Ranos, Sonlen. My friend, be swift on your mission as you seek to cure Uller's madness. The pirates have mobilized again. Leviatak and I have been assisting Lord Jandar's defenders across the coast of Nostraland and Thalank, repelling small-scale raids from the Crimson Fleet. These attacks have no clear pattern, so Jandar's recent defensive focus has proven valuable for protecting our shores from these assaults. I have spoken with Jandar a few times since my homecoming. Our first reunion had no words, just a moment of silence before he embraced me, tearfully breaking his usual stoicism after all these years. He still has not approved of my actions, but his forgiveness has been unexpected and unconditional. The forgiveness of his army, though, has been tougher to earn. Some, such as our dear friend Sergeant Alexander, respected the measures I took and deemed them necessary to stop Utgar. But many others remember friends lost to Utgar's raids these last few years, raids which I had to join unflinchingly. The presence of Leviatak has been similarly conflicting for many in the army. Her fierceness and stubborn pride are admirable on the battlefield, but in this moment of diplomacy, I have had my fair share of moments interceding as ambassador to ease tensions between Jandar's sentinels and her own warriors. I hope that our united presence in repelling these pirate raids will bring some degree of unity to our people. The scars of Utgar's tyranny still linger, and many of those under Leviatak's command still embrace the same brutality and malice that their deposed lord inflicted upon this land for decades. While we assess the armies under Leviatak's command, though, it is my goal to shape those who serve under the banners of Sapphire and Ruby into a new alliance for the unity of all Valhalla. If we can set aside these deeply held grudges, then we may just have a chance at securing lasting peace for our home. But these are thoughts for a future that must withstand the onslaught of the Crimson Fleet. Stay vigilant and stay strong. While I am fighting for the future, I still smell blood in the winds at present. Something is happening, and my instincts are telling me the pirates are reaching their end game. We must withstand whatever annihilation they will bring. Your friend, Raylan. Alright, and then this one. Vision of the Void Wings Command. Fia and Killian read over the assignment together, reviewing the plans one last time. I don't like it, Killian mutters. The king picks us for his big mission. But before we do that, we have to venture back into that god-forsaken tundra to mess with the land of the Bluebeards again. How many more raids does he need from us? We don't even get to keep anything we would otherwise plunder. Fia gestures curtly, signaling for Killian to stop his tirade for the third time since they set off for the northern shores. A few moments of peaceful silence pass, agonizing Killian. Changing topics, he addresses their recent warning. Do you think the big boss really did it? Tamed a kraken? His voice ripples with anticipation. Fia's shoulders shake with an inaudible chuckle, a rare levity seen only by her quartermaster. Both of them sit there, remembering tales from home about legendary sea monsters and mighty leviathans. I'm almost going to miss the excitement. This land may be worse than a Galveston inn in the summer, but the entertainment has at least helped distract me from the misery of this prison sentence. Fia responds, Rum, inferior. Valhalla. You got a point there, Captain. You got a point there. Okay. So I was trying very hard not to pause or, make expressions or anything, but we'll read through this again now, and I'll give my comments on this, of what's being written so far, as we know in the story. So what we've seen from the lore book, we kind of already knew something was going to happen on Valhalla's borders, that obviously Raylan was going to return the Yandar, but this alliance, my initial thoughts, because I had kind of skimmed through this. I hadn't read through the whole thing when I downloaded this thing the other day, and when I skimmed through it, there wasn't anything that I thought was terrible, but now that I read it all the way through, there are some things that I kind of don't like. Unfortunately. And again, Renegade can do whatever they want to do when it comes to crafting the story. That's fine. I mean, I have my own opinion as a storyteller, and, that's how it goes. Sometimes you're not going to agree on everything. But let me just start reading through this again, and let's break things down. Okay, Sonlen. So Raylan's writing this letter to Sonlen, addressing it to him. My friend, be swift on your mission as you seek to cure Uller's madness. The pirates have mobilized again. Okay, so in that first sentence, it sets up where we're at. Yes, Sonlen himself, like we had, what was it, the last one, the comfrey plant, where you have that last ingredient being taken, so there's a little bit of that going on. And now we have what's going on with Raylan and Jandar's borders. Now it's like, if you remember in the previous some of the previous lore, Yandar had brought everybody into his territory. There was no more like them going outside. There was plenty of fighting on the outside, and he said, okay, everybody with back in the borders, and let's just contain ourselves here and bide our time. Now we kind of know, because apparently on the shores there were pirates attacking along there, so that was the cause of the withdrawal from fighting anybody else, because the shores of the borders were being invaded by these pirates, and so Jandar needed to focus his attention on them. So there is an answer to that question from before. Why did Jandar withdraw his forces back into Utengard? Nastraland. Nastraland there is where Jandar. So see, there's a lot of shores here. Nastraland, besides this little thin area here, I mean, there's plenty of body of water areas that pirates could invade. So it kind of makes sense that he's like, okay, everybody return to Nastraland. We need to defend it because there's pirates raiding all over the place. So that kind of makes a little bit of sense. Okay, anyway, Leviattack and I... Hello, Dan Antonio. Welcome. Leviattack and I... oh no. So, Leviattack didn't remain in Ukar territory. And again, this is where the Ukar territory is, in Utengard. So, not only did Raylan return to Nostraland, apparently Leviattack followed. Oh dear. Leviattack and I have been assisting Lord Jandar's defenders across the coast of Nastraland and Thalank. Okay, and Thalank as well. Okay, so Nastraland and Thalank. There you go. So Nastraland and Thalank is above here. You can't really see it, but it's above there. This map is a little zoomed in, so you can't see it, but Thalank is above here. I mean, you've seen it if you watch Tales of Valhalla. You've seen where those areas are. So that's why, again, Jandar withdrew across the coast of Nastraland and Thalank. I guess she was thinking the enemy of my enemy is my friend with this type of scenario, although now they're allied. So, this is just darn confusing. Maybe just because I'm so used to the old lore that Ukar is unredeemable. and obviously he was, but now, again, Levy attack. So again, I know we had and the map was awesome, by the way, but we had Levy attack, again, apparently face off against any contender in the arena, in Utgar's realm, and apparently she came out on top, and now everybody just listens to her. No. I don't know. Okay, that's just kind of frustrating. Leviatak and I have been assisting Lord Jander's defenders across the coast of Nastrel. They like repelling small-scale raids from the Crimson Fleet. Okay, so Crimson Fleet pirates, all around those borders, and again, almost all that territory. There's shores everywhere. These attacks have no clear pattern, so Jandar's recent defensive focus has proven valuable for protecting our shores from these assaults. Yeah, again, he brought everybody back to his realm so they could keep up the defense. I've spoken with Jandar a few times since my homecoming. So this paragraph talks about her homecoming. So let's focus on that. Our first reunion had no words, just a moment of silence before he embraced me, tearfully breaking his usual stoicism after all these years. He still has not approved of my actions, so she, Raylan, did this whole double agent thing without telling anybody. She just did it herself. You know, she should have at least informed Jandar. You know, because what if she decided to remain bad? And no, I don't really consider it a redemption arc for her. The ends justify the means, Raylan? I don't know. Okay, let me just read through this more. He still has not approved of my actions, but his forgiveness has been unexpected and unconditional. Okay, which you kind of expect from Yandar, I guess. The forgiveness of his army, though, has been tougher to earn. Well, yeah. Look, there are better ways to overthrow Utgar than infiltrate. And if you're going to infiltrate, then inform somebody. If you join Utgar's ranks, like, and saying, "Oh, I'm just going to do this by myself," I'm sorry, that's not how warfare kind of works. You just don't defect, or say you're going to defect from somebody and then really defect from it and play this role as a defector, and then you join another side without informing anybody. That's a great way to get yourself killed. It's not smart in any realistic situation. And I know this is fantasy. This is, whatever. But yeah. Some, such as our dear friend Sergeant Alexander, respected the measures I took and deemed them necessary to stop Utgar. Really, why? Deemed them necessary to stop Utgar, to act like a bad person without even informing anybody. No, it's a good way to get yourself killed. And I refer this back to, like, just say World War II, because I'm interested, like, sometimes in the spy networks and people who are spies and were double agents and stuff. Double agents, triple agents, during World War II. And there were still people within the ranks that knew they were double agents, that they had to report to, and that maintained the infrastructure of whatever military system you were involved in. Sometimes they were on their own, sometimes they had no one to report to, but you still had higher ups that knew they were in there. Maybe not everybody. It doesn't have to be everybody. Sometimes it might only be one person that's in charge of them. That's their superior officer. But someone knows. You just don't go in, not guns blazing, but go in yourself and just be like, "Oh, people will understand later what I did," or "It doesn't matter." That's insubordinate. And maybe I'm being too serious on this, and I should take a lighter approach on it. But I'm really critical of Raylan's character here. But many others remember friends lost to Utgar's raids these last few years. Now, I'm kind of confused, and maybe it's just a mix-up. Because from what I remember, I thought Raylan had defected, and if I remember the timelines correctly, that Raylan was only on Utgar's ranks for just a number, only less than a year. So now why is this saying the last few years? That confuses me, just as a TypeScript type thing. Raids which I had to join unflinchingly. Okay, I get it. You were a double agent and you had to carry out these things, these acts. But the problem is, you are the only one who knew you're a double agent. And yes, I understand your need to having to fool everybody to apparently get to Utgar's. Again, I still question the logic of having to go through all that. But there had to be some type of plan. There had to be someone, at the very least, Jandar, to know that what your whole deal was. And again, if I were in Jandar's position, just like anybody would be in any type of military type position, as a spy, or as an agent who's a spy who's trying to infiltrate someone. And I know I'm doing this by human standards, but this is what I have to base stuff on. You report to somebody, and it doesn't matter if it's only at the start of your mission to where you're infiltrating somebody. You're still reporting to somebody. You still have to respect the chain of some type of command, even if you are a spy. And if you're just doing it yourself and be like, okay, everybody, after the war's over, okay, I did all this bad stuff, but you know what? I decided that I was a spy, and I went in and did it. They execute. It doesn't matter what good you did or what bad you did. They execute you, because it's like, well, you weren't under anybody's orders to do this, and you're expecting us to forgive you. And I know I'm being highly critical here, but it's I don't like the writing. I'm not going to say it's terrible writing. I just don't like the writing. It's not good. I don't like it for Raylan's intentions. Because what is the infrastructure? What is the military infrastructure then of Jandar? Maybe I'm just being too adult about it, and I should just be like, it's a fantasy story, Ryan. But if you're looking, and I already know this, if you're looking to make Heroscape as intricate and as popular as Warhammer 40k, you need to know these things, and you need to make sure within your lore that you have the specifics of what the military of every faction is. There needs to be backstory on top of backstory and intricate detail on top of intricate detail to know what everything's about in the world that you're creating or trying to create. That's what Warhammer 40k is. And if you're going to get anywhere close to the level of Warhammer 40k in this universe, you need to know these things. So is Jandar's army? I don't know. I'm my goodness, I'm so heated tonight about this. I need to. Okay, Ryan, calm down. But this is serious stuff. This is establishing a lore, a story, an intricate storyline within this. You can't be half cupped about it. I don't want to swear through this. It's just, if Jandar was any type of military leader, he would at the very least give her no position of leadership, let alone ambassador, at all. Okay, forgive her, but you still need to be punished, because this is not the way you go things. If you have any type of stable military infrastructure within your realm, that's how it would go. And so it's one of two things. Either Jandar does have a strong military infrastructure, and he's just deciding not to do anything, or his infrastructure of military within his realm is terrible, and people can just do whatever they want. Again, maybe I'm just being too much of a jerk about it, but that's a huge hole to me in the story. I'm not going to rant too much more about it. I'm going to continue reading. The presence of Leviathan has been similarly, I don't know what, similarly, okay, there you go, similarly conflicting for many in the army. No kidding. And this is another thing as well. I mean, I've just been spending the last, 10, 15 minutes just ranting about just Raylan's decisions to go in and how that's being handled. We haven't even got to the alliance part yet. So let's do that. The presence of the Leviathan has been similarly conflicting for many in the army. Her fierceness and stubborn pride are admirable on the battlefield, but in this moment of diplomacy, I've had my fair share of moments interceding as ambassador to ease tensions between Jandar's sentinels and her own warriors. You know what? Okay, I have some issues with this, and probably not for the reasons that some people have issues for, but let me just continue reading the rest of this paragraph, then we'll get into it. I hope that our united presence in repelling these pirate raids will bring some degree of unity to our people. The scars of Ukar's tyranny still linger, and many of those under Leviathan's command still embrace the same brutality and malice that their deposed lord inflicted upon this land for decades. Then why are you bringing them over? While we assess the armies under Leviathan's command, though, it is my goal to shape those who serve under the banners of Sapphire and Ruby. What are we talking about? I'm sorry. Ukar's, yeah, it's red. His banner is red, but it was never Ruby. Ruby is a different. This is the first time I've ever heard of stones representing the Bandar of Valkyrie factions. And I don't know if that was just something to write in there. But again, if you're treating this story, if you're trying to establish this lore to a level, to a higher level than what it was originally intended, you just don't throw these words in needlessly. Banners of Sapphire Ruby into a new alliance for the unity of all Valhalla. If we can set aside these deeply held grudges, then we may just have a chance at securing lasting peace for our home. Look, okay, let's break this down. I understand Raylan's and Jandar's intentions. You want to have peace. Of course you do. You want to have peace. Sometimes, though, peace don't come trying to make friends or appeasement. And I find it interesting. I think, does it say anything? Okay, no, I think it says something about, wait, let's say something about, I know we heard something about Ukar. Let's see here. President of Tech, hope their United Presence. Again, enemy of my enemy is my friend type of thing that they're doing in this. I don't know why Jandar thinks he needs the help, though, unless it's an overwhelming amount of pirates, which is probably the case. Malice that their deposed lord is. Okay, no, that's what I was. Okay, the Leviathan's command still embrace the same brutality and malice that their deposed lord, not killed lord, deposed lord. Deposed is a far cry from someone being dead. Just saying. There's still no proof that Ukar's dead. Still no proof. Could be mostly dead, but that doesn't mean there's proof that he's all dead here. It's just deposed. That's it. Not slain, not killed off, none of that. Deposed. Okay, now let's approach this alliance, these thoughts on alliance. Let's approach this. It is not a good time for Leviattack, especially for Leviattack to bring warriors that are with her, that could cause issues of division, and Raylan's got to step in and be like, oh no, let's all be friends here. That's a bad idea. Bad idea. Maybe she just brought, a bunch of of the minions, which is probably the best mood, but pick minions that aren't going to be as fierce and brutal. That's going to cause conflict. Look, if you're entering a peace agreement, the best thing to do is not bring people in the same room that's more likely to fight with each other. I don't care how well they fight. I don't care how good defense, or keep them separate. There's plenty of Jandar's land available. Put Jandar's forces in one area, and then put Leviattack's forces in another area, and none the two shall meet. You could do that too. Again, this is not very smart planning. Unless, again, I'm probably reading into it too much, but it's not smart planning. And okay, this, I know, and this is probably a setup for when all of them end up fighting the Thorman near the end. I know that's what this setup is for. So that's what they're going for the end of this. The setup to where the void and the well springs go and the kaplooey. I know that's what the setup is for. Okay, so I get it. It's like, okay, Ryan, well, we're leading to this. Okay, I get it. But it comes down to the point to where Leviattack is away from her territory, and I don't care how many people that she's had to fight to establish that, okay, I'm the big kahuna here, in Utgar's territory, and House Utgar, and no one else is going to contend with me. I don't care how many she fought. She didn't fight enough. She didn't defeat enough. She might establish herself as a head kahuna, but there is so many of those in Utgar's faction that I know as a certainty is not going to follow Leviattack. I know that. Not all of them are going to just follow her just because, she's got a huge axe and she defeated Utgar. It's like, there's probably so many followers of Utgar that wanted to take care of Utgar themselves, and were waiting for just the opportunity for that to happen, but Leviattack beat him to it. It's a bad move. I mean, maybe if Leviattack would have just sent some of her people, but she needs to stay at home for a while to establish a more secure foundation, so that she's in control better. It's like, okay, I just defeated Utgar. I was able to defeat whoever I need defeated to have this house seat, and now I leave my territory. That's a great way for someone else to take over. And by the time she gets back to her territory, someone else will be like, oh, hi, here. Okay, I'm taking over. You go. We're going to defend you, because as many people as she's defeated in that arena, she can't take out everybody. So I hope she left a good administrator behind, because I don't think at this point she should trust anybody. There's just too much deceit in House Utgar. Sorry, that's who Utgar brought in to fight on his side. Is the evil, the smelliest lot from all over time and space. To think that she can handle that and then leave, just taking some of her force with her, because I guarantee you she didn't empty her land to go to Jandar's territory. That's invasion. So there's so much to question about this, and some of you might be thinking, I never thought of that before, because I know there are some things different, like and I'm not going to try and re-say what I've seen online, but some people just didn't like the alliance because just because they don't think Uthgar and Jandor should be allied, period. And while I might have misgivings on that, depending on the story setup, and as much as I may or might not like Leviatech and Raylan's friendship, that's how that story's going. I mean, it's from a story perspective, it's just how Renegade's doing it. I'm trying to dive deeper into this though, on does this make sense with everything else that's going on? And it could. I mean, again, we're only getting a portion of the story. There could be things that I'm missing completely, and if I am, please write down below in the description on what your thoughts on this. I really like to hear it. But yeah, it's for me, it just seems like there are a lot of holes in this plot, in this story. Again, I understand setting it up for the big final confrontation, but yeah, that's kind of where I'm at with it. But these are thoughts for a future that must withstand the onslaught of the Crimson Fleet. And see, there we go. That's what we're leading to. Stay vigilant and stay strong. While I'm fighting for the future, I smell blood in the winds at present. Something is happening. And my instincts are telling me the pirates are reaching their end game. We must withstand whatever annihilation. Oh boy, we don't need that word. We've already got it from Sonlen. It's I understand why they put it there, but it's like, okay, we've already seen the word. We don't need to see it again. Annihilation they will bring. Your friend, Raylan. Okay, so, Raylan's back to a good guy person, so those conclusions, Leviatech's assisting them in Jandai's realm. Like it or not, that's what's happening, so gotta acknowledge that. So that's that side of lore. Now we go to the other side, and we see a little bit of what's going on with the pirates. So again, this is setting up for this confrontation. Fia and Killian read over the assignment together, reviewing the plans one last time. I don't like it, Killian mutters. The king picks us for his big mission. But before we do that, we have to venture back into that godforsaken tundra to mess with the land of the Bluebeards again. So this is interesting. So Killian's remember, and I remember because I made an animated short based off this. Apparently, they have to go back into the Thalank regions, to raid something. How many more raids does he need from us? We don't even get to keep anything we would otherwise plunder. So, okay, these pirates are not liking the quote-unquote king, which is, of course, Thorman. Fia gestures curiously, signaling Killian to stop his tirade for the third time since they set off for northern shores. So, again, for Fia's character, she is mute. So she gives hand signals when she wants to say something. Although, apparently she's not as mute as we thought, because she says something here. Now I'm confused. Fia gestures curtly, signaling Killian to stop his tirade for the third time since they set off for northern shores. A few moments, I think that meant for the northern shores, so there's a typo there. This is the first typo I think I've seen Renegade for the northern shores. Just saying. A few moments of peaceful silence pass, agonizing Killian, which is kind of funny. Changing topics, he addresses their recent warning. Do you think the big boss really did it? Tamed a kraken? Okay, so apparently they got a letter saying from the king that he's now in control of a kraken who is part of the void. That's interesting. His voice ripples with anticipation. Fia's shoulders shake with an inaudible chuckle, a rare levity seen only by her quartermaster. So apparently she can talk then, and she only talks to Killian. Both of them sit there remembering tales from home about legendary sea monsters and mighty leviathans. Okay, sea monsters is a kraken. Are we going to get some Leviathans? It might be a hint. Like, are we going to see like a Leviathan type thing in the future? That would be kind of cool. My son's very much into Leviathans. He draws what he imagines to be a Leviathan. So my son is so into, my 7-year-old, he's so into just looking at and drawing sea creatures. I'm almost going to miss the excitement. This land may be worse than a Galveston inn in the summer, but the entertainment has at least helped distract me from the misery of this prison sentence. That's interesting. From the misery of this prison sentence. Is he talking about just the fact that they're there in Valhalla and they're trying to get out? I mean, because that's Thormund's motivation to these pirates. It's like, you help me, I'll send you back. I'll be able to get the power to send you back to your homes, to where you belong, to the times that you belong. So I think that's what that means. Thea responds, Rum, inferior, Valhalla. So I think this is her hand signals, actually. This isn't her talking. It's just, I'm pretty sure it's just her giving hand signals. So Rum is inferior in Valhalla. Okay. You got a point there, Captain. You got a point there. I can hear Joe Crazy's Killian voice say that. All right, so that's a setup for that. I really have no huge issues with this other than typo for the northern shores. So you might want to refresh that and redo that Renegade. I probably won't. I'm not going to problem the in there. And so that's the setup, guys. So there we go. And as much as I have had rantings for about 15-20 minutes on what's going on in some of this, this is where we are at in the lore. So I want to report that and say that to you all. Still looking forward to see how things go, because we kind of know what the end result's going to be, but hopefully we get more details on the inevitable and quote-unquote annihilation event that's going to happen very, very soon in the future. So that's taking a look at that from the pen of Raylan and the vision of Killian and Thea, not Sonlen this time. That is taking a look at this from Scenario 17.